Here's what we got in the college basketball slate tonight. We bet Villanova at -4 and on the money line. That's why you're looking at 5, some 5.5s out there as well. I'm going to give out a premium play that I released already to subscribers because I'm seeing that line starting to drop. And if you agree with me, I don't want you to wait. And that's North Carolina and Virginia Tech under. We went under 151, under 150, and all the way down to 49.5, under 149.5 in that North Carolina Virginia Tech game. I think there's a lot of recency bias. If you look at the scoring for both these teams off their last game, I think that's why you're being, it's higher than I think it should have been. I already had that circled when these guys came in on it early this morning. I released that one to subscribers. A couple more for you that I haven't gotten down on yet with subscribers. Bet them already for the groups that gave them to me. 628 Georgia Tech minus the 8.5. 603 under over 156. Forgive me, LSU and Kentucky. 658 Utah minus the 3. 630, 624 Purdue minus 10.5. 646 Oregon minus the 6. And here's another total for you in that Patriot League first round. Actually, it's the side, Loyola Maryland, 306, 562. Loyola Maryland minus 1.5, -2 in the opening round of March Madness. So it's going to be a busy couple days. Oh, here was that total in the Horizon League first round. 673 over 138.5, 139, Detroit and Northern Kentucky. So it's going to get busy the next couple weeks, brother, with conference tournaments. And then, of course, the big dance. Can't wait for that.
These teams that made trades at the trade deadline seem to just have found new life. The Lakers definitely, and it looks like Golden State has. And a guy that's been playing really well since the trade has actually been Draymond Green, and we're going to take him over 9.5 points. He's over in 7 out of the last 8 games, 5 straight. What I love here, Prez, is he's getting 11.6 shot attempts in the last 5 games. He's making 5 field goals per game, and he's adding in 3 free throws per game. That's an average of 14 points per game. So this line is at 9.5. Short rest for Golden State, but at this time of year, it's kind of all hands on deck. I don't think they can really save very many people, if that makes sense. So I really like Draymond Green over 9.5 points. He's been playing well. Steph looks really happy. Jimmy Butler looks really happy. Draymond looks like he's found new life. So let's keep riding Draymond Green over his points. Yeah, this was one of those where I don't think Nashville asked, like, why are they getting rid of Stamkos? We're going to play him to not have a point tonight. No points in the last 13 games. Prez, you have to go back to November of 2023 to find the last time Stamkos has even scored a point against Boston. He's dipped below 2 shots on goal per game in his last 10 games. And Prez, you know, Nashville is just kind of like falling apart here. They have one game in the last 6 where they've scored over 2 goals. Yeah, they're 3-10 their last 13 games. So you're in a good spot if you're fading Nashville and the Nashville players. So we'll continue to do that tonight. I'm actually going to push back a little bit on how is Liv still going on. Liv is having a little bit of a surge here, and so is TGL, and it's because the PGA Tour cannot get their you-know-what together. I'm actually excited about Liv this week and this year. It's very bettable. We've cashed on Liv already, and we're going to take Joaquin Niemann to finish in the top 10 at the Liv event Hong Kong. This starts I'm on Eastern time, so it's like 11:15 p.m. Thursday night. Prez, he finished 4th here last year. He won the last Liv event, and he has 11 top 10s in the last 16 Liv events. This Liv field sucks. It's bad. It's old guys way past their prime. There's only a few guys who are consistent every week. John Rahm is one of them. Tyrrell Hatton. Even Tyrrell Hatton is kind of thrown in the towel. This was a guy that was top 10 in majors. He's kind of thrown. Joaquin Niemann comes to play every single week. This is only minus 150. I can't believe it. Like I said, he finished 4th here last year. He won the last Liv event. You can ride Joaquin Niemann top 10s all year.
Golden State is playing with no rest as they played at Charlotte last night. It'll be their 3rd road game in 4 days and 6th road game in 8 days. So it's the end of a road trip. It's a grind. And now they're playing a quality opponent. Big difference between playing at Charlotte last night and playing at Madison Square Garden in New York. And, you know, Golden State there recently has not done a great job of defending the 3. Now, I don't count last night's game. because Charlotte can't put the ball in the ocean in most nights. And they're going into that game last night, they had been allowing opponents to shoot 39% from beyond the three-point line. And that's problematic against a team like the Knicks, who at home this year average 119 points per game, shoot 49%, 37.2% from beyond the three-point line. So there's a lot to like here in terms of the Knicks. Golden State's getting a little bit of action here, yet this line has gone up to 4.5. A small reverse there, Prez, and we all know what that means and what that may indicate. But in any stretch of the imagination, without that even being considered, I like the New York Knicks here, lay the points at home against a tired Golden State team. Well, I'm going to look at the total, which is currently 149. The Auburn Tigers have scored 80-plus points in 9 of their last 10 games. Auburn's also played 3-0 to the over in their last 3 with a combined 168.7 points scored per contest. The Tigers in their last 5 averaging 88.6 points per game, shooting 48%, 37% from beyond the three-point line, and 77% from the free throw line. In those 5 games, had a combined 57 free throw attempts. If Auburn does have a weakness, Prez, it's defensively, as they play very aggressively and they send teams to the free throw line numerous times. They've allowed 28 free throw attempts per game over those last 5. They've also had 29 free throw attempts over those last 5. Texas A&M, 3-0 to the over in their last 3, despite the fact they shot less than 40% in all 3 of those games. In those contests, they averaged 158.3 points per game. A&M's three-point defense in their last 5, they're allowing opponents to shoot 40.8% from long distance, and they're allowing 11 makes per game. And that spells trouble against a team like Auburn, who could shoot the 3. And their last 5 games, in terms of A&M, I mentioned free throw attempts regarding Auburn. Well, the last 5 games for A&M, there's been a combined 46 free throw attempts. And like I've said time and time again on our show, that when you're looking at college basketball totals, you have to pay attention to free throw attempts and free throw percentage. Look for a physical game, a parade to the free throw line here, Prez. A&M season resume shows they're not a good. They're a good defensive team, not very good offensively, but they're going to be hard-pressed to keep this dynamic Auburn team under 80 points tonight. I'm going to go with Auburn and A&M over the total of 149. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from the side, Prez. Iowa State did have that rough stretch, as you just alluded to, but they were playing without their number 2 and number 3 top scorers in a couple of those games. So I'm going to give them a pass in that regard. This is one I went in, and everything you just said is everything I was thinking when I looked at this line, and I said, how could BYU be such a large underdog? Well, and then you look at the fact that BYU's getting a lot of action here, and they went from an opening number to the current number, which is raised another point to 9.5. So I'm staying away from the side. Auburn is this is a BYU team, over their last 5 games, averaging 87 points per game. They're number 2 in offensive efficiency during Big 12 play. They're number 2 in three-point shooting during Big 12 play at 37.8%. And even more noteworthy when it comes to their three-point shooting, 47.8% of their field goal attempts are threes. And to hit those shots at such a high rate, it takes on extra meaning. Again, something you should look at. Some teams are hitting 40% or more from 3 over a 5-game period, yet 25 or 30% of their shots are threes. This is the polar opposite. The Cougars aren't a very good defensive team by any stretch of the imagination. Iowa State has been scoring 79 points or more in each of their last 4 at home. I'm going to go with this game to go over the total of 150, Press.
So let's just recap. It's gone perfectly so far. I said at the start, India-South Africa final. India made the final today quite easily against Australia. South Africa in the second semi tomorrow against New Zealand. Afghanistan landed a nice winner for us last week at 11-4. They're out, but they did us proud in that game. So tomorrow's game, New Zealand-South Africa. Hard game to call. I think the market marginally prefers South Africa. Whilst I'm on them for the title, I would say that really is a 50-50 game. And I think that the big angle there really is, if you're going to bet in running, is wait till the second innings and bat the team back in second. I think there's quite a considerable advantage at Lahore for the team batting second, because you're getting a lot of dew in the afternoon that makes it harder to bowl. The main characteristic we've seen at that ground, apart from that, is runs galore. First game was 356, beat 352, and the team that got the 356 chase in Australia were in trouble. They still got there. In the second match was Afghanistan beat England 325, 317. Again, when Afghanistan posted their 325, they were in trouble. So it wasn't a particularly great total. Now, I've put up plus 200 on both teams to score 300 here. So it's won in both games in the tournament so far at Lahore. It won in the final warm-up game here between Pakistan and New Zealand and South Africa. So I think really the par line here for the first innings is 320. Very confident bet. I've had this in mind for a couple of months. Sunrisers Hyderabad. They're plus 600 to win. So
wow.
This is a 10-team tournament, and the way the betting is, you would think it was really close, like anyone can win. It just isn't like that. Franchise cricket is not like that. There is quite a clear goal. T20 cricket is not a random event. Now, you take Sunrisers, the second favourites at plus 600. This team finished second last year, and they did so after making a whole series of big changes to their squad, which all of us really who were monitoring were saying it's too early for them. They've got potential, but it's going to take time for that to gel. And they end up finishing second. And they still had some really clear weaknesses, like their bowlers weren't that strong. They lacked any truly world-class Indian bowlers, which is critical because you can only play 4 overseas players in each game, so you've got to have a strong Indian team. And they've bowled brilliantly over the winter, absolutely brilliantly. They've bowled Mohammad Shami, who's the second best Indian strike bowler. They lacked a world-class spinner. They've got Adam Zampa from Australia. They've bought Kamindu Mendis, a world-class all-rounder. They've bought Ishan Kishan, another top Indian batsman. To me, they've got the perfect